In a few months, I will be launching an NFT project. Huh? Who isn't doing an NFT right now? All the cool kids are doing it. And in this video, I want to share with you how I arrived at the conclusion that doing this next project that I'm launching was best done as an NFT versus just a standard product. When most people are launching NFTs, they're doing them sort of as a money grab or as an art project or to build a community. But I decided to take a product that I wanted to create anyway and do it as an NFT. And I did it because it was what was best for the customer. So in this video, I'll share with you the economics of it, the launch plan, and why I decided to do this project as an NFT versus doing it as a standard product. Hey, I'm Daniel Moran from capitalism.com. A year ago, if you had told me that I would be doing an NFT project, I would have said, "A what?" And then if you had told me what an NFT was, I would have been like,
"That's the dumbest thing that I have ever heard. No, that sounds like a giant bubble."
But as I dove into the space and got to understand the structure and where I think the entire space is going, it makes sense to me that NFTs are a way to do certain business projects in a way that's best for the customer. And that's what swayed me on this space, and that's where this space is going. Whereas right now, most of the projects that are NFTs are just money grabs and I think bubbles and speculative assets. I think that most internet-based businesses will have an NFT project alongside them because it's simply what is best for the customer. Now, I'll share with you exactly what my project is in a second, but first I want to share the one thing that caught my attention about NFTs that sold me on this space, and it is aligned incentives. Aligned incentives mean that when I win, you win, and vice versa. And NFTs are the first time that I have ever seen aligned incentives between creator and consumer. Put differently, if I create something and you buy it, I am now financially incentivized for the price of your asset to go up. If I release a product or a service and you own it, and I only get paid again if you sell it again at a profit, then my financial incentive is to do as good a job as possible so that there is more demand to buy your asset, knowing that I will get a kickback from that if it ever sells again. I think this is the purest form of capitalism that I have ever seen. I love the fact that it makes creators choose a limited number of people that they're going to serve and then do an amazing job at serving them. I also love, as a capitalist, I love the fact that when you buy it, it's an asset rather than an expense. I love the thought of someone buying something from me, and rather than it being an expense on their balance sheet, it's actually an asset that will potentially make them money over time. So when I set out to look at launching the next product at capitalism.com, I wanted it to have that structure. And that's what leads me to the NFT project that we're launching later this year. In case you're not familiar, I run an incubator for entrepreneurs. I mentor, coach, and help entrepreneurs launch and build seven-figure businesses that they can sell. We have hundreds of success stories of people who have found our work, free or otherwise, and have built seven-figure businesses. I wrote a book on the topic that sold somewhere near 100,000 copies. I have a lot of lead flow from entrepreneurs who have great ideas, have launched and are close to $1 million in revenue, and they need help on the advisory side or raising capital. And I've long wanted to put together a group of investors and mentors, maybe even influencers, that could help the entrepreneurs grow beyond that first million. What we've done up until this point is we have this incubator where we have the investors and the influencers and the advisors all inside of a portal, and we can kind of partner people up and help them raise capital or bring on an investor or whatever they need. But I wanted to take it one step further beyond that. We have this thing inside of the incubator called Pitch Week, and it's where all of our entrepreneurs are pitching their vision, pitching their ideas, and raising capital from a group of investors. It's really fun because these entrepreneurs present how they're gonna build a 7-figure business that sells for 8 figures or more. And investors often invest in those projects to help them grow to that level. So what I've wanted to do is have a group of investors all in one place that specifically were looking to invest in the deal flow that comes from my audience. I have entrepreneurs who used our training to build a 7-figure business, and then they went on to sell the company for 10 million, 30 million, a few of them for $100 million. And I love the idea of having a network of investors that is willing and ready to invest in the entrepreneurial ideas that are coming from our incubator. That's what I've decided to do with our NFT, which launches in a few months. Here's how it will work. I'll be putting together a group of investors that want to invest in my private deal flow. This will be deal flow that comes from my book, that comes from my podcast, that comes from my incubator. And I'll hand select the best businesses that have the best pitch decks and the best vision and what I think are the best chances of having a really successful business. And I will bring those opportunities to this group of investors. And the only way that you can get access to this investor group is to buy an NFT. Now, why is that beneficial? Well, first of all, it creates a community of investors who have aligned incentives for the entrepreneur to win. So if you think about a group of 500 investors who are all there to get deal flow, they are all now financially incentivized for that group to be successful. That means that they will also bring deal flow into the group. It means that some of them will volunteer their time and mentor the entrepreneurs that we've invested in. And it means there will be collaboration among the community because we all want it to be successful so that the value of the asset goes up. The second reason why this is interesting is because instead of people paying $50,000 a year to be a part of a mastermind, they're buying an asset that they can sell at a later date. So it's an easier sell. If you join a mastermind and you don't like it, you can't sell that membership. You can't even get your money back most of the time. But if it's an NFT and you're not getting the deal flow you want or you're not making the connections that you want, then you can simply sell your NFT to someone else and you might even make a profit as a result of doing so. I've decided to name this NFT the Capitalist Pig, and I will be referring to this community as the Pigs. I like the idea of thumbing my nose at the people who don't like capitalists and call us capitalist pigs. So I'm just gonna own that and say, yeah, we're the capitalist pigs. And when you own a capitalist pig NFT, you're in the capitalist pig community where we are funding the next great business that creates change in the world. I love that we're going to redefine what it means to be a capitalist pig. And we're looking at launching it sometime in May. Basically, the way that it will look is I'll have a hot list of people that I know are interested. I already have people who have reached out to me privately and said, whenever you're launching that NFT, I want to buy one. And I'll promote it to my audience a little bit. I'll promote it on social media a little bit. And I'll just create a little bit of a waiting list, a little hot list of people that want to be first in line for the NFT. And then I'll do a little soft launch of probably 100 to 200 spots for the NFT. And that will be the OG group, the OG pigs. And I will probably create some additional value for those early buyers because I want the early access buyers to have that OG status so that if they ever resell the NFT, they get rewarded the most for being early in the project. What I'll do from there is I will prove out the systems and ensure that the community is working and that we get all of our bugs out of the way. And after that, we'll do more of a formal launch where I will talk about it more aggressively. We'll document the successes of the deal flow that's come into the group so far. I'll probably interview a few of the members on my podcast to generate some buzz for it. And then we'll do a real launch of the project, which will probably cap out at about 1,000 people in the investor group. My hope is to be able to expand the NFT project to a total of 10,000 people. But as of right now, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that without completely watering down the value of the asset. So I will, for the first run, the first 2 years or so, likely cap it at 1,000 people, and then I'll reevaluate how we can grow it to 10,000 while protecting the value of the asset that we created. So my prediction is that we'll sell through the 100 to 200 spots really, really quickly. And then when we do a formal launch, we'll sell that out by doing more proper marketing. And if you want to be on the early waiting list to see what we're doing and be first in line, you can go over to capitalism.com/pig. I haven't yet decided if I'm going to do a public launch about it or if I'm going to take applications or what. I'm still figuring that out. But sometime in May, I'll be releasing the first edition and filling up that first 100 spots. And I think the price will be between 3 and 6 Ethereum, depending on what the price point of Ethereum is at the time. It'll be a 3-year pass, so you'll have 3 years of deal flow as a result of owning the NFT. And I'm still figuring out what happens at the end of 3 years, but I just know that I know I can create an amazing amount of value and really good deal flow over the course of 3 years. So I have zero hesitation about delivering on the promise of a 3-year pass for the NFT. So that's the plan. This May, we're gonna do a soft launch for the Capitalist Pig. We're gonna bring in my private deal flow that comes from my book, my podcast, my mentoring community, my incubator. We'll take the best businesses and we'll give the pigs first dibs at funding those businesses. I also expect that the members of that community will be bringing their own deal flow to the table. And I'll be in that position of vetting the best deals, hopefully bringing in some different kinds of investments like real estate investments and other syndications that come from the group. And we'll present that as unique deal flow to the rest of the pigs. But what I'm really excited about is being able to go to my incubator students and say, hey, I've got hundreds of investors that want to invest in your business. So let's ensure that your vision is dialed in, that you've got a great pitch deck, you've got a great path to victory, and that you've got the right board of advisors to know that this is going to be successful, because I can go help you raise $500,000 to fund the launch of your business. Let's not waste that. And I love that I can almost have an American Idol of sorts with my incubator and say, like, who's going to be the next one up? Who's going to be the next victor? Who's going to be the next capitalism success story? Who's going to be the next person that we go raise $500,000 for and document their success and watch them have a multi-million-dollar business? And then we can document the stories here on the channel and on the podcast. You have any idea how excited that makes me? I love that I can advocate for the entrepreneur and provide value to the investor. I really hope we get some influencers in the community as well, because then we'll have the entrepreneurs, the influencers, and the investors all with aligned incentives to ensure that each project is successful. That gets me really jazzed, and that's why the launch of this NFT is such a complete picture, a complete puzzle piece that makes all of this work. And I just can't wait to do this for our community. So that's the project. It's launching in May. It's called the Capitalist Pig, and I'll be documenting both the launch of the business, but also the success stories that come out of everything that is happening in that community, both on the investor side and most importantly, on the entrepreneur side. Because when the group of these investors invest in the best projects that come from the incubator, then we can just watch as these exciting new ideas come to life and become multi-million-dollar businesses. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this project, and I'll be sure to interact with you there. I'm Ryan Daniel Moran from capitalism.com. Thanks for watching.